Hi guys, it's Matt Z from Optimus Futures Studios, and today we're going to talk about what happened to the trader you always wanted to be. We're going to talk about that, and then we're going to talk about what plan you should have had in place and what you should have followed, and we're going to give you some variables to think about as you evolve as a trader. Okay, so let's go back to the time you wanted to be a trader and let's see how it turned out to be. And before I say that, again, I'm probably going to say it in every video that I'm going to make. I don't criticize anyone. Trading is hard. It's really hard. It's probably one of the hardest professions that exist on earth. So when people make mistakes, we need to correct them. There's no way that I'm going to approach this from some sort of a way that you have to do very small scale movements in order to improve as a trader. You have to do really big things and things that you have to think about. So again, all those things that I'm sharing with you, it's because I truly want to help you. I don't want to be a politically correct broker. I have to say it like it is. So you have to forgive me if I'm a little bit aggressive at times, saying that you have to do this and you have to do that, but it's all coming from a good place. It's because I care for your money. I know that you didn't grow your money on a tree, and all the advice that I'm going to give you is practical. So as a novice trader, this is what you thought. You thought that you'll get up in the morning, work out a little bit, have a little bit of coffee, and explore the opportunities in the market, right? So that's the first thing that you thought. The second thing that you thought is that you thought that you will have a method that works, a technique for all seasons and all methods that would work through thick and thin, right? And the third thing that you thought that the process will give you, the process of trading, will give you some sort of consistent returns, and your losses would probably be very, very minimal, and you'll be able to identify them really fast. Now, here are the things that you did not consider and neglected. One of the things is that trading does not provide the freedom that you thought it has. You need more commitment and discipline than somebody who has a steady job and a boss above him. You need to be committed to studying and learning. The second thing you didn't consider is the mental strength you need to deal with pain. Losing money is painful. There's no ifs and buts. It's never planned. It's never pleasant. But you need the mental strength to understand that it's part of the process of being a trader. Above all, you're underestimated goal setting, work ethic, and the review process. Let me tell you something about the review process. The review process is a very mundane process. It's something that you do over and over and over again, and on every single time that you trade. It's a boring process. Personally, I think that success is boring because you end up doing things that work over and over again. They're not very creative, but that's my philosophy. So here's what happens in reality when people start trading. They start trading, and the strategy that started out on paper or in demo does not work out the same. The small losses that they wanted to take turns out to be a little bit larger, and sometimes there's one trade that where traders deviate from their trading plan and they start trading in ways that they never thought they would, with this, I'm only going to do it this time to make my money back, right? And basically that almost kills their account, and it almost kills their trading career. And if you're sitting there and thinking right now, wow, does he really know me? Well, let me tell you this. I don't know you, but I could tell you that all beginners' mistakes are very, very similar. So all those things that people do is because there's a certain level of DNA that exists in every human, and they react to losses. We all react to losses in a very similar way. Well, this time, let's reestablish your trading goal, your trading plan, and your trading method, okay? So here's a little secret. Pain, and any type of pain, gives you humility, right? It gives you the experience of how to deal with risk, and that is what traders need more than anything in their trading career. So remember that pain is, as a result of losses, also makes you think, right? So you're not a failure if you experience trading pain. All beginners will suffer pain, but what you will do with that experience, from that pain, will determine the path, your path as a trader. So let's talk about a 5-step process towards establishing yourself as a trader. Now, this is a process that I actually heard from Ray Dalio. He was on a podcast with somebody, and I don't recall the name, but he said this is the 5 steps that he takes in order to solve problems. Now, as you know, he has a hedge fund, so he obviously is a trader, and you can apply it to your own trading. So the first thing that he does, or first thing you should do, is define your goal. What do you want to be? Do you want to be a full-time trader, part-time trader? Do you want to be an auto trader? Define your goal of what you want to do. Then the second thing, as part of the design process, you encounter problems and you define them. You have to be very specific. You have to write down what are the issues that you're having. So, for example, maybe you're missing trades. Maybe you don't have the ability to cut your losses short. Maybe you're afraid to enter. Maybe you're using too many indicators. So become conscious of the issues that you're having and be honest about it, right? And then the third thing that you do, you're starting to analyze what is the root cause of all the problems, right? Why are you afraid to enter the market? Why can't you cut your losses short? What's causing all those issues? And then you have to design a way around those problems, right? Now you have to find a solution for every single problem that you're encountering. Now you understand how involved the process of trading is, because it's a mental game that you have to work on over and over and over again. It's like your brain is basically a muscle, right? And if you go to the gym and you work really, really hard and you develop the muscle, it's not just going to stay there the way it is. You have to keep on working with it and to keep it in good shape. So this is basically the process. Now I'm going to go through some things that you need to do also as a trader. And if you haven't done it before, then those are things that you definitely should consider. So one of the things that you have to do is basically find a method to judge yourself. How do you judge yourself as a trader, right? Do you put your numbers in an Excel spreadsheet? Do you have a trading journal? What do you do with all that information that you receive every day from the markets about yourself? If you just rely on intuition, that's the worst thing that you can do. If you just kind of fold your laptop or you close your computer at the end of the trading session and you just think about it, right? That doesn't do anything. I mean, it's good to think about it. You're doing a lot more than doing nothing, but essentially you have to quantify it. So put it in some sort of a trading journal. One of the trading journals that I really, really like is Edgewonk. So the second step is determining the times that you're going to trade, right? So you have to set your schedule. Some of you work. Some of you can trade early in the morning, some of you can trade at night, and that will also determine the markets that you want to trade. So the next step is determining the markets you want to trade. You want to trade liquid markets, you want to trade at times that you have the ability to get in and out with ease. The next step is to develop a full-fledged trading risk management plan. The most unpleasant question that you have to ask yourself is how many trades you can sustain, how many losing trades you can sustain in a row, right? So if you have an account X dollars, you have to say, well, if I lose this many times, then you know what will happen. And then you can basically adjust your trading risk, volatility, the frequency of your trades, and so forth. And another thing that you have to ask yourself is how adaptable and flexible your trading system is, and how will it change as the market evolves. So look, one of the mistakes that people do is that they try to change their methods all the time. So here's what they do. They go to the market, a plan doesn't work out, they go back to paper trading, they revise a brand new program, then trade again, then back to paper trading. It's a destructive process and it's absolutely useless. When things don't work out, what you have to do is look at the system and saying, okay, what have I done wrong? right? Maybe the system is good, maybe your method is good, but maybe the market was too volatile. Maybe your target should have been bigger. Your risk management should have been different. So don't necessarily just abolish your trading method. Look at what you have done that day and how the market is. And many times you have to adjust your system and your method to the market condition. Now, there's nothing wrong with having 2 or 3 methods for different markets, but I truly don't believe that you keep on rewriting the rules over and over again. There are markets that are volatile. There are markets that will be sideways. There will be markets that will be just fly in one direction. You have to decide how you're trading your systems in every single one of those markets. That's as far as that. Now, beginners usually do not like failures. I don't blame anyone, honestly. It teaches that failure is good. But professional traders or professionals in general in every field, they know the value of failure and mistakes. Mistakes are your building blocks to successful trading methodology. And what I truly believe in is that your mistakes in anything, if you're a student in university, if you're an athlete, if you're running a successful company, when you make the mistakes, this is your foundation to do things better and better. In fact, I think you will learn a lot more from your mistakes and errors as opposed to learning from your successes. So essentially, if you cannot turn your mistakes into a compelling experience, you will most likely take your winning trades and become way too emotional over them, failing to understand they're just part of the trading process. There is nothing to be sad about, and there's nothing to be happy about. The only thing to do is simply follow a process. You want to be very cold about your trades and the way you look at them. We are not taught the value of failure. You're attached to being right, and many times that stops you from learning and evolving as a human and as a trader. And when you don't like failing, right? What happens is it's a trader, right? So when you don't like losing trades, you don't like failure, there's always the danger that you will start trading with your ego. And egos, they stick to losing trades. They don't want to cut their losses short. So consider that. Here is something that I want you to think about as well. Think of your final goal. This is probably the most important thing I want to say in this podcast. So think about your final goal, your intermediary goal, and your initial goal, right? So let's talk a little bit about goals. There's always a final goal, but there are steps towards that goal, right? And there's initial goals and there's intermediary goals, and they help you to get to your final goal. So I assume that your final goal is to be a profitable trader, right? But your intermediary goal is to develop a process, and your initial goal is to survive, right? So you cannot go from the first goal to the last goal. You cannot go from just surviving to becoming a good trader. There's a lot. You always have to take all the steps on the way there. And you cannot start in the middle. You cannot start in developing a process. So what it means is that if you start developing a method, but you don't think about cutting your losses short and first surviving, you're never going to get to your final goal. So let's talk about the importance of every goal, right? So every single goal setting process would help you get to the next level. When you follow this process, you will potentially develop strengths to become a better and better trader. So the initial goal is to survive, right? And that will teach you one of the most fundamental skills, which is risk management. The ability to cut your losses short is the basic fundamental of trading. It's actually the ability and humility characteristic to say, I'm wrong. And it's the opposite of your ego trading your account. The second goal, which is developing the process, secondary goal is to give you discipline to follow your method and process. This is where you simply stop relying on your gut and you follow a method that you developed. So you're not going to say things like, it seems like, and it feels like. You're going to drop it out of your dictionary. You're just going to develop a process. You're going to say, I have condition X, I think it should lead to position Y, and this is how I'm going to act about it. So the intermediary goal, in my opinion, are the foundations of your goal setting, and they're extremely important. The final goal of being a profitable trader is predicated on the first two variables. If you cannot obey the foundation rules in the intermediary process, you cannot achieve your final goals. So finally, if you follow the process that I mentioned here, you will start separating also between your conscious and subconscious mind. The subconscious mind of a trader is always drifting, is always imagining things, it's always in action, and it affects your thinking. For example, when you're in a trade and you start thinking about where the price should go, and you start imagining the price going that way and it's going completely in the opposite direction, it's because you're using your subconscious too much. And you have to use more of your conscious mind. Your conscious mind will tell you to stick to your trading plan. It's not going to think about where the prices should go or where they went in the past. It just follows the plan of the current market action. That's it for now, guys. I hope that this helps you. Please go to our site to community.optimusfutures.com. This is where you can ask us questions about trading. You can ask us about trading platforms, your method, anything. We'll help you out. Would love to earn your trading business, so you can go to www.optimusfutures.com if you want to go to our homepage. And just remember that there's a substantial risk of loss in futures trading. Past performance is not indicative of future results. I'm asking all of you to use your risk capital, and just to remind you, I'm with you here in this challenge, and I'm here to help you through the process. Thank you for listening again. This is Matt Z from Optimus Futures. Take care. All the best. Bye.